All right, so this is going to be essentially part 2 of this honeysuckle removal. So basically 3 weeks ago I went through and basically took the chainsaw and some herbicide, cut down a lot of the honeysuckle, and then treated it with a herbicide. Now, as you can see behind me, it's been at least 3 weeks since that occurred, and you can see all the brown behind me. That's all that honeysuckle that was grown in, that is now basically dead and dried up. So again, the idea was cut the bulk of the foliage down from the plant and then treat the root system with the herbicide to eliminate it from basically regenerating and basically growing up from the root system again, and kind of just basically staying still where it's at. But today is kind of a continuation of that same process. As you can see over to this side, as there's bugs climbing on the camera there. On this side, we've got still a bunch of green. So I'm going to continue on pushing this direction to keep the process going of getting rid of some of this honeysuckle. Again, more than likely not going to be able to get rid of all of it because it has been grown in so thick for so many years. But the idea is to hopefully cut it back, set it back enough to where it allows a lot more of the, more native plants that are going to be a little more beneficial. Give them an opportunity to get established and hopefully, kind of take over the area instead of this invasive. Honeysuckle is kind of a mixed bag where you can get some benefit from it. There is some wildlife that will eat on it, eat some of the berries. The nutrition value on it is not very good, but you will get some good cover from it. The problem is if you let it go too long, kind of like we have here, it's going to take over the entire area. Nothing else will grow. It'll actually grow so thick that it's even tough for especially larger animals like deer to utilize the area. So that's what the goal is here. Eliminate some of that, open this up a little bit, allow new growth come in, more diverse environment. Hopefully it'll be more beneficial for deer and wildlife. So I'm gonna stop talking and start cutting, and so I can start spraying because it's starting to get warm out. So stay tuned. All right, so we got this little section all cut. Now it's time to spray with our herbicide. Again, I'm just going around and then we'll spray the stumps. And now an easy way to tell if the honeysuckle that you're dealing with is the invasive is if you cut it, and as you can see, that little tiny hole where it's starting to like hollow out, that's a strong indication that you're dealing with the invasive version, or the version that you really don't want on your property. So if you have it on there and you cut it and you're unsure, look at that stump and see if it's starting to hollow out in the middle. That's a strong indication that that's one you want to get off your property. This is kind of cool. End up finding this little AB skull in the midst of some of the honeysuckle. It's got some sharp little teeth there, so I'm not quite sure what this is or what it used to be, but interesting find here. I'm gonna probably take this home and look up and see if I can identify what this was at one time. So I'm guessing I don't know, maybe a fox or something along that line, but I guess we'll have to look it up. All right, so that completes this part of the project again for the day. Again, basically just going through chainsawing everything down, spray it, let it die off. So you can see that some of the stuff is laying down. That's still green. That's going to die off here in the next couple of weeks. And then even in the background, you can still see the stuff that I sprayed before. That's already completely brown. Then the cane. Now it is pretty woody, or essentially pretty tough material, so it does take some time for the honeysuckle to fully break down. But as you can see, there's still areas that are still very green, that weren't treated, that are still, again, regular, or that are natural or native plants. So a lot of forbs, different weeds, different briars and whatnot coming through. So we got raspberry, we got different grasses, ferns coming up. So these are all going to grow up in here. Hopefully keep this filled out. And allow deer to continue to bed in here. That's the whole idea of this area, is to make it a better suited area for bedding for deer especially, but not only that, just for other wildlife. Again, trying to be a conservationist and kind of have a good ecosystem for all the wildlife in the area. So that's it for this time through. Again, hopefully you learned a little bit of something and got an idea of a way to be able to handle this invasive species. You can do the same thing in regards to if you have honeysuckle, autumn olive, or any other type of woody invasive tree or bush or anything like that. You could use the same principle or same process. Seems to work the best for me. I've done hack and squirt before, but just didn't seem to have a big enough punch to completely kill the tree outright. I actually had to go back through and do some retreat on some stuff or on some honeysuckle that I did that before. This seems to work the best. A little bit more work, but you're getting it done right the first time and don't have to worry about it. At least that plant coming back anyway. So again, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something, and hope there's more to come on the rest of this project.